Darkness has descended upon the city, and the creatures of the night have begun to stir. This is the time when the veil between the realms of the living and the dead is the thinnest, and all that is not what it appears to be. Like a lone sentinel, one candle flickers in the night, revealing all that lurks in the darkness. This is Ghost Chronicles, Book of Shadows. Welcome to the nightmare.
Well, good evening, everyone. And I am Ron Kolick, that lone candle flicker in the night, defeating the darkness. With me, of course, is the Wicked Witch from the West, Marla Brooks.
Yes, I am.
I love that opening. I don't know, just the music of it. Eric did that for me. Eric
That dum, dum, dum. Yeah, it is a good opener.
Little, yeah, it even goes from ear to ear too, so it's kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, we do have a guest on the show who is in radio himself, believe it or not. Probably doing it as long as I have, maybe longer. I don't know, but we'll find out, won't we?
Nobody's as old as you. Come on.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was here before radio was. So there you go. I used to do my show by smoke signals. Anyways, do you want to introduce him? Because
you can't pronounce his last name.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So here's the thing. I had to go back to my notes from
1920.
20. Yeah, it was 2020. And in my notes it says Greg I'm sorry, Bakun. But I wrote it so I could pretty much do it. I had to see it first. And then today I went over to his website and listened to the beginning of one of his radio things. So it's yeah, I made sure. So it's Greg Bakun, right? Right.
Okay. Correct us, will you? Save us, please, Greg.
Well, I wrote it down. I went 5 years back just to make sure I don't flub it. But I still could. I could, you know me. But okay, let's hear it, Ron. Say it.
No, thank you. Greg.
Well, hello.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you do have a great voice, radio voice, and you do GhostBox Radio, I believe that's the name of it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Damn it, I got that right anyway. How long you been doing that, Greg?
Well, funny enough, I started GhostBox way back in 2015 on ParaX Radio.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But at the time, it was called Minnesota GhostBox because, I don't know, that's just what I did. And then over time, we dropped the Minnesota and kept GhostBox Radio, and just been what it is since then.
Yeah. So GhostBox, why did you chose that name? Just curious.
Because in my paranormal journey, the one piece that is always with me, and the part I consider an extension of my hand, really, is Spirit Box. And I've been very fortunate over my career in the paranormal to be able to have some very good communication with spirits through the box, and I've just been such a fan that's been kind of like the cornerstone to everything I have done in the paranormal.
Okay, I've got a good question because I like the backstories. You know that. So when did you get interested in ghosts, ghost box, EVPs, and all the other things paranormal and metaphysical?
It was interesting because a lot of people will have the story of when they were a kid and there was like see someone in their closet, a ghostly figure, stuff like that. I really didn't have that. It didn't actually. I mean, there was some stuff that happened early in my life that I didn't really give much to, and nothing like what you hear certain people. They have really, really incredible stories, but probably in the late 90s, I was watching a show about a paranormal investigation show. Not, this is before the big wave of shows that kind of was waved in the 21st century before Ghost Hunters and stuff. And there's some team, and one of the ways that they were trying to reach out to spirit was that they would bury one of their they would bury one of their team members in a coffin and literally bury him underground. It was a very poorly made coffin, and so they'd put the dirt back on, and there was a camera inside the coffin with him, and all of a sudden the top of the coffin, surprisingly, right, just breaks apart, because after all, it is a lot of dirt on a poorly made coffin. And I thought to myself, what a joke, quite honestly. Is this what this is? Because I'm not interested in this at all. Jump forward a number of years, um I'm it is what it is, but I'm not a big fan of the program anymore, is Ghost Adventures. And I was watching it, at the time, to be perfectly honest. I love the idea of being, spooked and scared and that sort of thing. Because and that's what they did. I fell right into their demographic. One day they were doing this thing, and it wasn't like a SB7 spirit box. It was basically, they were calling it shack hacks and stuff. And
Oh yeah.
they were using it, and I thought to myself, if this really works the way that they're showing on the show, I want to do this. And so the place I was working at the time was an advertising agency that was in a building that dated back to 1916. And so I had a friend with me there, and he was into this stuff as well. And I said, you know what, let's get a spirit box. And they were very much accessible, as they still are, on places like Amazon and stuff, so it's not, I didn't have to know a whole lot to track one down. And I brought one in, and he worked down. He actually lived in Texas, so he wouldn't be up all the time. The next time that he came up, I got my SB7, and we went down to the creepy basement of the place, because every place has to have a creepy basement.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. The funny thing about that is, since that time in my journey, that's not a creepy basement. At the time it was a creepy basement. Now it's just like a basement compared to places that we've all been to since then. We've all had our really very creepy locations that we've been to. So we get downstairs, and I'm just not sure if I even want to do this. I'm scared. I'm literally scared. And we turn on the spirit box, and I have all this recorded. I didn't even know what I didn't know. Let's put it this way. Like now, of course, with spirit boxes, you have like external speakers, so you can hear it a little bit better. And back then I was just using the speaker on the box, and I'm like, can we get a name, please? And right away, some person comes through and says, Jack. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Do you have a last name? Lund. Wow. And then we asked, what's your birth date? And we get some numbers. I don't think it's correlated to anything. And we just asked, is there anyone else that wants to talk to us? And all of a sudden, we had this male the whole time. We had this female all of a sudden just says, hello. And that was like, okay, oh, all right, this is pretty cool. And we had other things happen. And we went upstairs where our agency was, and we did another session. And I'm getting a little bit braver of all this. And I said, my name is Greg. This is Jeff. Could you say Greg, and can you say Jeff? And right away you get Greg, Jeff, to the spirit box. And I was hooked. I was just hooked at that point. I didn't know what to do with it. Like, for example, I didn't know, what night vision was. I set up a camera in a hallway with no lights on in there, because I didn't know what to do. I mean, that's how little I knew about anything. And so, like, I went back and looked at the footage, only to find, like, an hour or so just black, because I didn't know what night vision was. And but the one thing is that I started dreaming about becoming an investigator, and I dreamt that every single night, literally every single night, for almost like a year. And it wasn't like scary dreams, like I'm in scary locations. I was just doing it. And that was that moment of like, clearly you need to do this. This is what this is telling me. And so, it just felt like that was great validation for me, that this is, once I kind of broke that seal, I was on the right track.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on your earlier thing about the shack hack. The shack hack is hack shack, whatever you want to call it. is it was basically a Radio Shack transistor
Yep.
radio that you would disable the scanning section of it so that it would continuously scan it and go. In fact, I still have one of the original ones in my collection that we still use occasionally at like public events or something like that. We would use it, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of spirit box is in general. But people do have good results with it. You know, what you're telling me is pretty interesting in itself, and I don't know other people as well. So, um, yeah, just because I have doubts about a thing, it doesn't mean I'm gonna not listen to what other people are doing with it and so forth.
Well, the interesting thing about Spirit Box is that, like any other piece of equipment, it doesn't work on a regular basis either.
Hmm.
You're gonna have a lot of times with it that, you're gonna hear little blips and blobs, and people are gonna be like, trying to fit their narrative into that.
Yeah, that's the
And
problem with I think with most people is
yeah,
they try to fit their narrative into it.
totally. And I absolutely see it. I'm not going to say that I don't accidentally do that on occasion myself. I try not to, because
Hmm.
that is one of the big pitfalls of Spirit Box. Um, but over the years, like when I share recordings, and last time I was on Marla's show back in 2020,
Oh,
we
God
I
bless you.
had a lot of Spirit Box recordings. I think I played that
Yeah,
night.
yeah, you
And
did.
those are ones that are kind of like picked to make sure that they are they're the ones that I'm not going to put something out there unless I can really 100% say that I truly believe what I think it says. It actually sounds like it. And people can still be like, well, I don't know if I totally agree
Mhm.
with that. That's totally fine. That you
Hmm.
can't hang your hat on evidence. You can't prove that it's somebody that you think it is answering the spirit box. But, that's the thing. And, people come on my show and they'll have some EVPs, and some are just amazing. Others are just like, it's
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm not quite hearing what you're hearing, and that's just how the dice rolls on some of this stuff as well.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of the spirit boxes and that type of thing is that people, first of all, they don't record them, which is, extremely sad. And second of all,
Yeah.
they say what they think it is, and other people are automatically start listening for that particular thing that they say. They said do that with EVPs. They do that everything.
Yep.
To
Yep.
truly analyze it, you can't know what other people think it is. And the
Well, that's
final
with,
part. Go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead. No,
No,
it's
go
just
ahead.
when people on my show bring those things in,
Mhm.
um, I don't like to do it, but they do it. Say, well, listen to here. It says Yankee Doodle, and then they play the thing. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to hear Yankee Doodle, or you're
Yeah.
not supposed
Yeah.
to say anything. Just let them hear it and see what's going to, if they hear it.
And
Absolutely.
the interesting thing too about it is that also the environment you hear it in changes the whole thing. For instance, we did an investigation uh, at Portsmouth Harbor Lighthouse, and the person doing the EVPs uh, was at the end of the night, and the last thing they said, if we're going to be leaving, so if there's anything else you wanted to say, now's your chance. And she says the thing that came through, it says crap. Okay. So we used to do ghost tours to raise money for the lighthouse, and because I'm on the board of directors and so forth, but whatever. Anyways, but so we used to play that same recording in the base of the lighthouse. Now I know what that thing says, but every time that we play it, there were virtually nobody heard crap. They all heard like be right or something like that. And then one summer when Steve Parsons came over from the UK, we had a huge crowd for at the public event we were doing, and so we played it outside, and we played it outside. Every single person there heard crap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's there's so many variables on hearing things, and that's another problem. I mean, the best way to do it, and I'm sure you do it, is with the headset and not knowing what you're looking for.
if you can do that, sometimes you can't do that for various reasons, but you're absolutely right. And I also think that I think people are wired different ways with how they hear in general, that whether it's an EVP or whatever else, some people don't hear certain frequencies the way that others do, and
Fair enough.
they don't hear, because there was like that first night that I was talking about. um we're in a room, and we went over on camera because we recorded it, and said, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. That can't be a coincidence. And my friend Jeff says, yeah. And right away, right afterwards, I hear this little girl say, yeah. And no one else hears it. No one else hears it. So, and I'm not saying that I have, Superman hearing. I just feel like that there are certain things that not everyone picks up. Another one is from Velisca. We had through Spirit Box. I firmly believe that it's somebody, multiple voices saying 6 people killed, even though that's inaccurate, funny enough. But the funny thing is like, you'll play it and you don't tell anybody what it says, and you get people who hear it. Other people don't even hear anything. They don't hear any kind of words or anything. They're hearing white noise, which is also a pitfall with the stuff like the SB7 or SB11. A lot of people don't want to hear that white noise. It's not everyone can take that, and I understand that completely. That part I really understand.
But isn't that what the whole theory of EVPs is that the spirits, you're not really recording an audible. What you're recording, actually is happening is that the spirit is manipulating the white noise on a recorder to put their voice on it. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't hear it while it's being recorded, but only on playback.
Well,
So that
I mean,
go ahead.
I hear it. Well, with Spirit Box, I hear it very often beyond just recording. I think that, when there's certain
Yeah,
things
but
that
the
you,
spirit boxes are different than an EVP, though. People like
well,
to throw those two together, but it's not the same.
what white noise are you hearing for EVPs? Because I'm just recording. And you're
Yeah, but
talking just the ambient white noise, the general white noise that we're not necessarily picking up in our own ears.
for instance, the DR60, which is supposedly the gold standard, that you get EVPs, it's just a crappy recorder and it's loaded with white noise.
It's
But
horrible,
yes, exactly. Even though it's $1,200 on eBay, but
right? Right?
but the the other thing is, you're supposed to put, like, they actually have white noise generators that you can do to help spirit talk, basically. I mean, not talk, but be able to put their voice on records and stuff like
Sure.
that. When Lisa and her husband, Tom, I think it was Butler, started the American EVP, they used to take they do their EVPs, but they'd also had a video camera with them. And if they picked up the voice on the video camera, they would discard the EVP, saying that it's not a true EVP if it's also recorded on audibly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I was just thinking, because most of the people that we went interviewing I didn't know what it was. And we were investigating a house that was about 2 doors down from the place where the murders got.
Were you at David Oman's place?
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
So we were there, and we did a 5-hour thing on Para X. I mean, they were following us for 5 hours in there, but they turned on a spirit box, and the first thing that came out, and it came out really, really clear, was murder. And everybody was going, but yeah, it was kind of interesting. But it was really, really clear and loud.
It was really interesting. We just did, probably 2 months ago in September, we went to a farm in Granite Falls, Minnesota, and we were outside. And one of the things that I was trying to do the entire night is try to, because I believe Bigfoot is interdimensional. And so I'm trying to, and I've seen them before. So I'm trying to raise energy. I'm trying to get raise the intention for at least some eye shine and stuff. And we had Spirit Box going, and it's just so funny. And I don't believe this is one of them that said it, but all of a sudden through Spirit Box, very loudly, you get, "I'm Bigfoot." which is
Oh,
actually
geez.
it's more comical than anything, because I'm sure they're not going to be like, I'm gonna have a laugh with these guys. I'm Bigfoot, but it's something else though, and it was just really funny, and but also very topical at the same time. Which is
Mhm.
something we look for when we are doing the spirit box, or really anything. It just are we getting something that we're considering that could be an intelligent response? Can I say something real fast about the DR-60?
Yes, please.
Because you're absolutely right, and I mean, and I think this is one of those great situations, never to believe the hype just because TV shows or stuff done it. I remember going out to a location. I won't say it because these people firmly believe that their DR-60 is the greatest thing of all time, and they'll record, and when they play it back, there's like, it sounds like somebody is screaming into the recording, and right away everyone's like, oh my gosh, dark spirit, demon, whatever. And
Mhm.
at first I'm like, oh my gosh, that's pretty incredible, wow. And then I started hearing it. We did our own event, and we had a para celebrity, and he had his DR-60, and he was playing that, and you could hear the same yelling, and they're not related at all. And then
Mhm.
another friend of mine was talking about that they had a DR-60, not even related to paranormal. They had it just because they were doing some recordings, and it just so happened to be a DR-60. And they said this is happening on their device as well. And I don't think any of it's paranormal. I think that there is a fault with this recorder, that and I think it's probably a matter because they're older machines now. They're not new anymore. I mean, these things are what, 15 years old or something now.
Oh,
It's
older than that.
probably yeah. So it's probably some kind of fault that has been developed on these recorders over time. And so now anyone who says, "Oh, I got my DR-60," it's like, well, enjoy. I got my own stuff that I've gotten some pretty good results from, and I think I'll just stick with that.
Yeah, the biggest problem, well, one of the big problems, and it's because there's a lot of problems with audio recording, is that we don't know actually where the voices are coming from. We assumed or make the assumption that they are spirits or an entity that's talking to us. But we are, one of the other theories that is just as credible is that we are actually putting that on there with our own minds, either subconsciously or consciously. We're
Yeah.
thinking of the answer before it happens, and we put it on there because we don't know the power of our own minds. And if you can go into a whole show on just the power of the human mind, but so there's a lot of that's why the paranormal is so interesting because
Yeah.
there's so much questions more than answers.
Well, and funny enough, one of the experiments and line of research that we're going down, when I say we, my friend Shar and other people, uh, is can we get ourselves on the spirit box?
Mhm.
And from a different timeline or whatever else. I mean, why is it just spirits? If we know that the spirit box wasn't made for spirits, it was made for alien communication originally. At least the version that we all have kind of accepted over time, that evolved into the SP7. I don't know if evolve is even the right word, but you get where I'm coming from with this. So I
Mhm.
mean, this is just an area of, why stop at just trying to pick up spirit or alien, which I've done that, or Bigfoot. What else can we pick up there, and think differently than just the what seems to be the obvious?
Mhm. And the other thing is you're still looking at a radio trans receiver, and the Earth is inundated with radio waves from anything and everything. So it's very possible to pick up waves as well that may have nothing to do with what you're really trying to do. It may not be spirit at all, but just random waves. That's like EMF. A lot of people they jump all over EMF and they think that's the greatest thing coming. But unless you know where that EMF is coming from, you really don't have anything. All you do is have a spike on your meter, and most meters are crap anyway. So it's that's the problem. It's the whole thing with our equipment. It's not really that good. And so we take it as evidence, but it really isn't in a way. It's something that to look at to try to understand, but is it absolutely proof? No, absolutely not. Not in my opinion, anyway. And many people that look at it logically.
It's yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think kind of what I alluded to earlier, it's like you if we're trying to bring and you know, I'd like to try to use my own mediumship if I want to try to bring somebody forward
Mm-hmm.
and to talk
Oh, so
with
you're a
them.
medium too, then?
I do some you know, it's been hard for me to use those words about myself,
Yeah,
to
I
be
know. I
perfectly
get it.
honest.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
But I mean, I try to. And you know, if we hear a voice, and I have an example of one. And I won't go into the long story because it is long, but
I don't care.
eventually
Well, you have to if you're gonna do it, you have to probably do it after the break because we're just about coming up in the break.
would
But
okay, yeah, we could do it. I could do it after the break. But yeah, so I mean, there's been times that we picked up. What I'm getting at here is there's times we picked up spirits, but
that's just the pizza from the dead, which means his break's coming up in 2 minutes.
my God, I was like, what the? So okay,
Dominoes.
so yeah, I was just like, my gosh, are we under attack?
Yeah, it could be.
So, but I mean,
Atlas 31 Atlas.
And you can't, even if you think something is an obvious spirit that like we're asking for and it's very obvious to them, it's never obvious. We can't 100% prove that it's that person we're trying to bring through.
No, even a medium. I mean, you sit with
Exactly.
you sit with a medium, and they can give you all kinds of information about you that nobody could know you. But we don't know where that information comes from. You know, they might believe they're speaking with the dead person, but there's no proof that we can actually say, okay, that's where it came from. This, you know, your mother or your aunt or whatever. We really don't know where the information comes from. So that's another. And I don't think, quite frankly, I don't think we'll ever be able to, you know, prove the paranormal beyond a shadow of the doubt. I mean, it's especially with AI nowadays. It's nothing is believable anymore. Quite frankly,
That is a step back. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we do have to take a break. You're listening to Ghost Chronicles Book of Shadows right here on TogiNet Radio and Parax Radio, and where all good podcasts go to die. I am Ron Kolick, and she is Marla Brooks, and our special guest today is Greg.
Come on.
Says Baku on my on your Zoom.
I know. Not very clear, is it?
No, Baku. Hey, maybe we'll call you Baku. I don't know. Anyways, we're brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 386 Merrick Street, Methuen, Massachusetts, the Gallant Messenger Family Law Group, 55 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, and our very good friends on Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon. Stay tuned for more of Greg after the following messages.
Do you have a paranormal event, book, or something else you want people to know about? Then why not advertise it on Ghost Chronicles Radio? With over 150,000 downloads a month, get your message out to an audience that's interested in the subject. We have a plan at a cost that fits your needs. For more information, contact Ron Kolick at anyghostproject@comcast.net or call 978-455-6678.
Located in Illinois, there lies a sleepy little town where nothing is a common occurrence.
You going to that party in town tonight? Heck yeah! I only turned 18 once.
That is until the night of celebration.
Where the hell is she? Oh no. No, Jessica! What's happening?
From the creators of Shadowhunters, Bite Me, comes a tale of primal terror and grindcore mayhem. Shadow hunters, kill, Jessica, kill!
Are you reading me? Come in. Hello? Greetings from the Shadow, and welcome to Shadowzine. My name is Jeff Belanger. I'm an author, podcaster, and explorer of the unexplained. For 30 years, I've been investigating the paranormal, UFOs, monsters, and things that bump in the night. Lately, you may have noticed how major TV networks and even social media networks have been pushing our favorite subject back into the shadows. I say good. That's why I launched Shadowzine, a monthly underground publication that covers your favorite topics in depth by some of the leading writers and researchers out there. If you're looking for 30-second TikTok clips, go somewhere else. If you're ready for a deeper dive, put down your phone and pick up Shadowzine. You can't find it in stores. This is old school print. Head to shadowzine.com and be part of the underground revolution. That's shadowzine.com, and I'll see you in the shadow.
And welcome back. We've got Ron Kolick, also known as I can't say it today. Von Helsing, I did now. I'm Marla Brooks, and I'm his favorite West Coast witch. He says that.
The only one.
Yeah, and I said that too. And our guest is Greg Bakun, and he might be talking through a ghost box tonight.
What? Ghost
Yeah,
box?
yeah. I'm just saying he may be doing that.
I don't even
But-
know if he's real. He could be AI for all I know.
Well, I mean, you're making it sound like I've passed and I didn't even know it. Is it? This is truly like the sixth sense. You don't even know that you've left, and that's fine, I guess.
No,
It was painless. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, did it work? Did it work? Yes, maybe it did.
Poke him with a stick, see if he's alive. That's what I always say. I know I can be critical at times, but it's not that I don't believe things or anything else, because nobody knows my true beliefs. But I just want people to look at all points of view and all theories on different things and to critically think. And that's the important thing in life. So there you go.
What story was you going to tell us?
Yes, let's hear this long story.
Long story is that I used to do Sunday night Facebook spirit box sessions, basically as mediumship galleries, where I will be on Facebook. I would be on Facebook. I'd ask anyone you want me to reach out tonight. And it wasn't meant to be like Hitler, they were meant to be like, can you reach out to my aunt or whatever else, because that's the one thing that I always get is not so much about what happens to them in the afterlife. Is like, are my parents safe, and my cat, pass, that stuff like that. And so I was watching a documentary on Discovery Plus, and it was basically the last photo of Lincoln, and Lincoln's always been a big fan of Lincoln. And so what this is, it's like some kind of photo that seems impossible to be taken after he had died, still in the bed at the Peterson house, which would have been very a lot of security around. So, and of course the cameras aren't like a camera on the phone. It's heavy pieces of equipment that they would have to bring in. It turned out there was a photographer, brothers that were photographers upstairs. And so like a lot of circumstantial evidence were kind of coming together to try to make a point that, could be, depending on your point of view, could be very cool or feeble at best. It's very hotly contested. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to ask Abraham Lincoln myself. And it was an exercise to see if I could do it, So before the Facebook session, I sat down and, I mean, Ron, if you're not a fan of Spirit Box, what I'm going to say next is really going to set you going.
Oh, no,
I
no,
had,
no. Seriously, I love
I,
listening to this stuff. Doesn't mean,
I, I had some flashlights.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
And listen, I understand fully on flashlights as well, but I feel like for myself, if you're getting good cadence with your answers,
Whatever floats the
flashlight.
boat, I have no problem with.
So, so I asked the question. I meditate on it. I'm like, I'm trying to reach out to Abraham Lincoln, and if you're here, if I've reached out to you, can you light up the flashlight? And it lights up and it turns off. Now, once again, to our point from the last segment, there's no guarantee it's Abraham Lincoln, but
No, but still cool, though.
I put a lot of faith into what I'm doing, and that's, I think, I think there's a couple different types of investigators. One that put faith in, others that are going to want to be very logical about it. I think there's room for both of them, but I will admit I'm more, I do kind of go off the faith side of things, and I have a question for you tonight. I try to explain. I'm going to put this picture up on the screen. When I put it up there, there's going to be people that you're not going to see, but they're going to be watching. Can you answer through this box I'm holding up? You're going to be able, I like to think that I explained it pretty well, but who knows? But I said, do you understand? And the light at that point turns back on and turns off. I'm like, this is okay. This is great. I also want to know, can I ask Mary Todd Lincoln a question? And the light goes on and off, and it doesn't go back on again because I had no more questions. So I start the Spirit Box session on Facebook, and I started off and I said to everyone watching, and there was about 50 some people watching, and I'm like, Spirit Box is going, President Lincoln, is this you? And I put the picture up on screen, and a male's voice comes through and says, yes, it is. And the comments section just goes insane, like, oh my god, we got him, oh my god, I can't believe this, and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, I don't know how much time I have with them, and I really want to talk to Mary Todd more than anything. So I'm like, I got a question for Mary Todd Lincoln. My question was simply, Mrs. Lincoln, when you were living, you spoke to the dead. Now that you're dead, do you speak to the living? That was all I'm going to ask. But with all the comments going on the screen from all people watching, and they were just loving it, I ask the question, but I mess it up. I'm fumbling through it. I can't. I'm like starstruck to who knows what. I'm starstruck, and I'm just like, Mrs. Lincoln, you once were living, and now you're, just ridiculous. And so I'm just ending it with, can you talk about, and I just kind of fumble through the Spirit Box, and a woman's voice comes through, exasperated, and she says, talk about what? And obviously I have this recorded. It's one of the things I play the most when I do presentations. It's to me, it's absolutely wonderful. And she literally is like, talk about what? I mean, you can feel the inflection. Cool. That is really cool. But my point in the prior segment was, I'd like to believe that's Mary Todd Lincoln, and I tell people it's Mary Todd Lincoln, but can I prove that it's Mary Todd Lincoln? Absolutely not. And someone in the comments, bless them, they're like, well, can you play it against a recording of her voice?
Yeah, good try.
Yeah. And it is like, oh, you're so sweet. No, we're not going to be able to do that. And here's the funny thing, as you both know, it doesn't matter if they sound the same. I mean, that's not necessarily proof either. I mean, that's the thing about all of this.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's why, people will see spirits of loved ones, and they'll see them at different stages of their life, not necessarily at their end, but at another time. I know that when my father died at a family cookout, and so it was a cookout, so it was very casual and everything else, but he never got to say goodbye to my mother. And that night he showed up in my mother's bedroom all dressed in a suit, and of course she screamed and he disappeared. But that's another story. But so the theory is that you can show yourself as any way you want to be. But
Mm.
don't get me wrong. I am totally intrigued with all of this. I've used the spirit boxes many times. I used the hack shot. Steve Parson, my co-host from the international show, is a parapsychologist in the UK, one of the most respected ones. And we were over here with the lighthouse, and we were doing a public event with the Coast Guard because it's on the Coast Guard base. And he used the hack shack, and he doesn't really like the hack shack. But he had a great session, and the Coast Guard says, "I don't understand where that's coming from. It really doesn't make sense." So, you have those incidents that occur, and to me, those are interesting. Now, once again, can't say that that's proof of anything, but
No.
they're interesting. They're really, really interesting. We had went down to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and we was working with Mark Nesbitt down there. We were in the engine house, and I was just interviewing the manager of the place. And there's a bunch of steam engines. It's a whole terminal, so there's a bunch of steam engines back. I mean, there's nobody there but us. And all of a sudden, you heard just huge bang. I mean, huge bang. Everybody goes running to it and everything else. The funny part, when I was recording that incident, that sound never appeared on the recording at all.
That's
But yet
crazy.
everyone there heard it. So there's so much we don't know but you look at it and you scratch your head and you say, that's interesting. And that's what the paranormal is. Interesting.
Absolutely. There's so much of it available. It's good to have conversations like these because it makes people think. It's not spoon fed, and I feel like so much of
Mhm.
it these days is spoon fed
From the
that
TV.
absolutely, and dare I even say it, through the paracons now and stuff, because that seems to be what I find, depending on which ones you go to, it's all about meeting celebrities, and I understand there's a place for that. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you're really into this field, don't let that be your ground level, or at least be open to other things,
Mhm.
which some are, some aren't, and it is what it is.
Mhm. I've been studying the red light seance for 14 years now. We have a group that meets once a month. We
Nice.
conduct a red light seance, which is primarily for physical mediumship. And we get some really, really interesting results that we can't explain. We record them all, and everything's recorded and both audibly and it's also physical medium, so you do have some
Hmm.
physical activity as well. So it's interesting. Uh, I wish I could know more. I mean, I look at these early
Yeah.
spiritualists, and they used to do a lot with physical mediumship, a lot with ectoplasm. We don't even see ectoplasm anymore, hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the things that intrigue me. The things that we can't really understand.
And we
It
never
does.
will.
I don't think
Well,
we will.
and I do agree with both of you. I think that there's so much that's been kind of happening that certain things have just kind of fallen by the wayside, been forgotten. And I worry. I certainly worry about the AI aspect to it, as
Oh
as
God,
you
yes.
you talked about, Ron, because it's just, you can't believe anything anymore, and most of it, luckily so far, is pretty stupid looking, that you don't really have to worry about it. But there are a lot of other people, though, who are taking it as, you read the comments and they like, I do not accept this energy, and it's all this stuff, and it's like, no, 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 it's fake. It's horribly done too, but it's going to be a point that they're going to start being a lot more realistic, and it's going to really mess with us.
Mhm.
It's
I mean, there are
starting.
points too where the explanation is more ridiculous than the accepting that it's happening. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember my favorite show of all time was Most Haunted. That's how I get one of the reasons I got involved in it. Most Haunted. I thought it was a riot. They went to
Me
these
too.
cool places. They had the
Yeah.
historian Richard Felix, and they did a lot of neat stuff. And the vet screened their head off. It was a lot of fun. But I remember Karen O'Keefe. had an explanation for something that occurred. I believe it was he got touched or something like that, and he said it was a supersonic budgie or something, which is an insect that occurred. That was his explanation, which was ridiculous because I had him over there and we were laughing about that time. It's like, oh yeah, that's so the people do that. They come up with these explanations, and even the explanations, uh, they can't actually prove that is the explanation for what occurred. You have to be a theory, but you certainly weren't there at the time to do whatever. It's just yeah, it's just say, well, it could be this is what they should be saying, but they don't. They say it's this. But anyway,
Speaking with authority, absolutely, yeah. No.
Yeah, everything is taken with authority, which is everything that they do on TV, everybody believes it, hook, line, and sinker, and everything that occurs that they jump on it, and it all depends on your personal belief because everything goes through us. Everything is funneled to our beliefs, to our even our physical abilities. It all filters through there, and so that's why we have different people getting different things from the same outfit. But you can see that, and remember that dress thing that was on there? Was it blue or yellow? Or yellow. Yeah. So it's interesting as hell, but I love talking to people like you, Greg. I love hearing what you got, and that's whether I believe in GhostBox or not, it doesn't really matter because it's intriguing for the results you receive and also how you perceive them. So it's I find that extremely interesting. So you've been a great guest, that's for sure.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real fast. I mean, that's the purpose. Is like we're not. No one's ever going to agree on everything. But I mean, why can't we have a discussion about it? Why can't we just it doesn't have to even be points of view against each other. It's always just we're talking about our favorite subject, paranormal stuff, and that's what's happening here. And it's nice. It's refreshing to have that. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, we can't even agree on political parties and political things. So what the hell? Can't agree.
Well, Groucho Marx once said, "Do an open mind, have an open mind, but not so much that it'll fall out of your head." And
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Einstein's my favorite quote. I believe it was Einstein. The mind is like a parachute; it's useless unless it's open.
Oh. Had to think about that for a second. Okay, I want to hear about the GhostBox Book Club.
Oh, didn't know about this.
So I figured when we have amazing authors on our show, and that's one of the center point for GhostBox Radio is getting authors talking, because I love theory, I love people's experiences, love talking about different things that I had no idea about, and finding books that are in this genre. So when I get a guest on that's an author, basically I have a page. And so I originally on AM 950 I was doing the show once a week, and then about coming up, well, it's over about 2.5 years ago, they asked me, do you want to go nightly, which was pretty incredible. And so I'm going nightly now. And I figured since the start of going nightly, I wanted to have the books of all the authors that had been on my show and their book. So if people want to, if they listen to it later or whatever, they can go to the page, find the book. And to be honest, it's self-serving because it has an Amazon affiliated link, which helps us out. But you try, right? Whatever.
No, I mean everything costs money, so I mean
you got to shill. You always got to shill somehow. And that's actually, that's hard. It really is hard because it's you don't want to make it all about that, but you have to make it somewhat about that. And there's a fine line that I tend to be on the wrong side of, because I'm not making anything.
I get it.
And so be it. So be it. The show has been successful in its own way with its own, it's growing in the Twin Cities. You could feel it. We were just at Twin Cities Con, and which is a big 35,000 people event. and we had a table there, and people would come up. And last year we did it, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, tell me more about your show and stuff." When we give them stuff, this year a lot of them came to the table and like, "Yeah, we listen, we've heard it." And
Awesome.
that's cool. That's cool. I mean, you don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you both are in the same way, where you don't get a lot of feedback about the shows. So you're just like, well, I hope people listen. I hope people like, because
Mhm.
no one really tells you, and
That's true. Yeah.
they only talk about it if they don't like something generally. So, so you just kind of hope that you're on the right path. So yeah, the Ghost Box Book Club is really just a way to have people to be able to check out the books and the authors that we've had on. And boy, we've had some really fun conversations with some really good authors on.
Mhm.
And it's fiction and nonfiction. So it's been a lot of fun.
Excellent. Now, if somebody wants to listen to your show, how can they do that?
So we're nightly live if you're in the Twin Cities area, AM 950. We broadcast live at 10:05 every night for an hour. You can stream it on am950radio.com. If you want to see the video version, if you want to see my pretty little face, you can go to like Facebook, YouTube, Ghostbox Radio. And then we're also on Spotify and iTunes, and you can go back to episodes on YouTube as well, MN Ghostbox Official, because there's not any unofficial MN Ghostbox, but I couldn't figure out a name at the time to call it. So you can go there, and we have over the past 3 years, amassed 500 and some episodes. So yeah, we're loaded for bear.
Yay.
Awesome. Hopefully, we can get you on ParaX sometime too. Yeah, that would be good.
Real fast, Para X is kind of what I wanted Ghostbox Radio to be, and I think we're getting there. Is it's a community. Para X was always to me a great way to do radio, but it's also a community because those chat rooms filled up. People were interested. If they weren't, Facebook Lives are fine or whatever, but there was just something about people doing internet radio on the level of what Para X is doing. That's so cool, and so I love it. It's such fun memories, and I'd love to be able to do it again.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get you on, and we may even be able to pick up your relay on the AM station. So
That'd be great. That'd be
yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. So I am working on that right now, but it'd be great. So how long you been doing the radio show?
I started on Para X back in 2015. I've been in radio since 1994.
Yeah, that voice. I'm telling you, that voice.
Yeah, because I went to school for it and all sorts of good stuff. But then, yeah, I just got on in 2015. One of the shows on here, I was friends with one of the guys, and they said you should try this. I did, and it was just so much fun. It was really fun to do. So it feels like to me personally, being in the paranormal, this is a cornerstone for me. I have to do some kind of show where I'm talking about the stuff that excites me about this field. And so, yeah, I've been doing it, like I said, for the first so many years, weekly, and then starting in 2023, Monday through Friday, 10:05 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Awesome. And it's like February last year was my 21st year on WCCM in Lawrence. So that was, I did my first show on Friday the 13th, 21 years ago.
Cool.
Oh,
How cool.
Okay. That makes sense now.
What does?
That it was, never mind. Yeah.
What?
We started on Friday the 13th or
Why
whatever.
wouldn't I? You should know me better than that.
No, it's just.
I do weird stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I said that. Yeah, okay, never mind. Well, I'm back there too. I don't remember when I started, but I think it was like 2007 or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're all old people doing these things.
You know what's funny though is when you have a radio station is unless you have, oops, there you go, unless you have immediate feedback, you know sometimes you wonder like, is anybody listening to me? It's
Totally.
yeah, it's especially in the beginning that was always like, what but yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But eventually, once in a while, you hear something, and it's nice. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I should bronze you. You're so rare.
Now, the interesting thing now is that you can, you have your stats, which are really interesting. So I find that, especially on the Ghost Chronicles radio shows, and been doing that for so long. But and Pararex is the same way now. So, but yeah, there's nothing like a real radio station. Do you go into the station? You do it remotely.
So I'm at the station right now. It's weird. I work during the day at the station doing a lot of different things, and then I
Oh,
go home for 4 hours and I do it from my home, and I
okay.
relay into the station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. That's the thing you can do now, which is
Yeah.
thing. But there's nothing like going into the station though, and sitting on, in a booth or whatever, a studio, excuse me, and doing the show. It's just that feel is so
When it- when
satisfying.
when I started the nightly one, I was also running the board as well as
God
doing the
bless you.
content.
Oh my God.
Right? So
No,
yeah,
no, thank
You
you.
get brownie points for that.
yeah. I love the fact I would do that, and I'd also put the comments up from the video stream and stuff. And Chad, who runs the station, is like, I don't know how you did that. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
really.
don't know. That's just how it works. So I don't know.
When I first
Mm-mm-mm.
started on WCCM, we used to get a copy of the show. We'd get it on cassette.
Nah.
Oh, geez.
All right, we gotta go. We run out of time. Go check out GhostBox Radio and Greg. Baku. That's all I have. But anyways, we're brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 386 Merrimack Street, Bethune, Massachusetts. The Gallant Messier Family Law Group, 55 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts. Our very good friends on Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon. So good night, everyone. God bless, and thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.